Hi everyone. Today we have a special guest. She's from Thailand and her name is Jettitha.
Hi, so I'm Jettitha. I'm a sophomore in a university in Bangkok. I'm from Thailand. And yeah, I'm here.
So today we'll explore the intricacies of the Thai language. As we all know, Thai is the language spoken in Thailand, and I've heard that it's a tonal language, right? Similar to Chinese, for example, and Vietnamese. Okay.
Yes. So, like for the audience whose language is not a tonal language. So a tonal language is when you change the tone of the language and the meaning of the word change. If you think about English, you can think of the word like, for example, hot. You can say, this cup of tea is hot. Or you can say, is this hot? The tone changed, but the meaning of the word hot remained pretty much the same, right? But in Thailand, like if you change the tone, even if everything remained the same, it's a completely different meaning. And in Thailand, we have 5 tones in total. So okay, let me show you. For example, the word. Okay, so this is the word cow in Thailand, in Thai language. If you add the tone sa, like this, it's mean cow. News, like news on newspaper, news on television. But if you add this tone instead, my toe, I'm not sure if you can see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
My toe, it's cow, which means rice. So that's like cow and cow. You just change the tone, but the meaning is completely different. Another example is like, let's say, ma. So without the tone, ma mean come here, come here to me, right? And with the tone, my toe, it's mean ma, which means horse, like horses. Yeah. So you can see how like if the tone changed, the meaning changed as well.
Right.
That's pretty much it.
So it's quite difficult to learn as an adult. If you're not exposed to it much, it's difficult to learn the tones, right?
I'm going to tell you the truth is that Thai people, some Thai people, like I would say more than 50% don't actually know how to pronounce like each tone individually. They learn by remembering the word. For example, when we learn the language, we just remember that, okay, ma mean horse. But if you put the syllable or the tone on a random word that they never know before, chances are even Thai people don't know how to pronounce the tone correctly. So for any Thai learner, don't be stressed about it. Like you will learn as you learn more words. Don't stress yourself over the tone. It's okay.
Okay. Do you know any foreigners who can speak Thai really fluently? Have you met anyone like that?
Yes. Most people who can speak Thai really fluently. I have never met anybody who have been in Thai for like 1 month and they can speak like fluently. But those I know have been here for like three years or 9 years, and they can speak pretty much like Thai people, because our grammar is not that complicated. And even if you pronounce the tone wrong, the locals still understand what you're trying to say. It's not that hard. Okay.
Okay. So another question I had was, how similar is Thai to the language of Laos, for example? Is it similar?
Okay. So I would say around 60 to 70% it is similar. Like if you look at the writing style of the alphabet of both languages, you can definitely recognize a pattern, like having a round thingy on the tip and go like this, like this, like this. And then one really obvious similarity is that both of our language is written without space. I think in English, if you want to say like a sentence, there will be space between words, right? But in Thai and Lao, and I think Cambodian as well, we don't have space between words. We just written it in like long line, and we don't have full stop as well. So
how do you find the ambiguity between different words? If there's no spacing, if there is some ambiguity, how would you figure that out?
I would say you would have to understand the meaning of the word,
Mm.
and then you kind of like assume, okay, it ends here. This is the beginning of the new sentence. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess it's pretty hard for like somebody who start learning Thai
Mm.
who doesn't know like all the words yet.
Mm.
In Thai, we have the word clap and ka.
Mm.
If you are female, you use ka, and if you are male, you use clap. It's like a polite form to show respect, to show formality at the end of your sentence. And so I think that's one difference between, I'm not sure about Cambodian, but I'm pretty sure that in Lao, there is no polite, how do you say, this extra word. So that's one difference between Lao and Thai. And our grammar is a bit different. And if you travel to the north part of Thailand, in the Isan community, they actually speak Lao, but they write their language in Thai alphabet. So it's a Laotian dialect in Thai alphabet. Yeah.
So if you watch Lao TV or movies or something, would you be able to understand?
No. No.
Okay.
I would kind of understand what's going on. Like, are they agreeing or are they disagreeing, or maybe some word? But I don't know if I'll be able to understand like the whole context.
So you mentioned about the script, right? So how many letters do you have in your script, or is it like a syllable-based alphabet? How does it work? Syllable-based system? How does it work?
Okay, so in Thailand we have 44 alphabet and 21 vowels. But for
Wow.
the 44, we don't use all of it. There are some of it that we only use in like royal words or literature. But when you write like words in everyday life, you don't actually use it. And we divide those 44 alphabet into 3 categories. It's high, middle, and low. So just to give you an example, I think I'm gonna show the middle alphabet because we only have 9 of those. It's the least one. So we in Thailand in elementary school, even Thai children have to remember like which is which, and we have a very weird way of remembering it. We put it into a phrase, and this is like a national, like universal thing in Thailand. Like every school in every region remember the same phrase. For the middle alphabet, it's called "Gai Jik Dek Tai Bon Pak Ong," and the literal translation is a chicken pecked a child to death on top of like an ong. Is like, let's just say it's a really big like container to keep water. It's very brutal sentence. So okay, I'm just gonna write it here. Gai Jik Dek Tai Bon Pak Ong. So that's the middle alphabet.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a very weird sentence, but it makes us remember, so it works. And for the like when you mix it with the vowels, when you mix the alphabet together, it's about to get really complicated. We have what is called akson poklam. Yeah. Akson poklam is when you mix 2 alphabets together and you get a new sound, right? And so, for example, you mix the gokai with lolia, like separately. These two, it's called go and law, right? But when you mix it together, it's like, for example, gra.
Oh, okay.
Gra.
I get what you mean. Yeah.
Okay. And okay, but then the complicated thing is that we also have what is called like the realควบกล้ำand the not real ควบกล้ำ. So for the real ควบกล้ำ, it's very easy. You just put like two alphabet together and then you try to like pronounce it in whatever order it is. Like the one I just show you. But for the not real ควบกล้ำ one, for example, ทอทหาร and รอเรือ, like this word, it's mean treasure,
Okay.
like your treasure me. And ทอรอ, if you really think about it, ทอรอ, it's supposed to pronounce like tra, right? Like tra, because it's ทอรอ. But then we don't pronounce it like that. We pronounce it sub.
Okay.
Sub. So
It's different. Okay.
yeah, ทอรอ equal to ต่อ. And there is absolutely no logic to it. You just have to remember it.
Okay.
Yes, there's no logic. Don't try to find logic in it. There's none. Yeah.
Okay.
I think if I try to explain it, it's maybe because like this word come from Sanskrit. And so like Thai people trying to make it pronounced in Thai way, but then not entirely.
Now that you mentioned Sanskrit, there are many Sanskritic words, right? Many words from Sanskrit in Thai. So could you give some examples of them?
Yes. For example, the word that I just say sub, which means treasure, it's also Sanskrit. And like there are words like gasat. Gasat in Thai, it's mean king, but gasat is not a Thai word. And also words like
you guys say Raja, for example, right? You guys say Shri. Many I've seen names like that. Yeah. And Ratana, you have that Ratana.
Oh, yeah. Ratana, it's a very popular female name in Thailand.
Yeah. And
it's from, I think Sanskrit and Bali is from Indian actually. Like we take it from India. And words like kosna, which mean commercial, or emotional words like glod, which mean angry, is also Sanskrit.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And like normally when Thai people think of Sanskrit, we think of like royal words or words from literature. But in like middle school, we learned that Sanskrit word is actually like we use it in common language as well. Like for example, the word prakat, which mean announcement, like on TV announcement, we hear it every day, and it's from Sanskrit, not Thai. Or the word like pradit, which mean to invent something. Yeah, words like that.
That's interesting. So do you have different languages within Thailand that you speak in different regions?
Oh, yes. We do have like because each part of Thailand is connected to different country, right? For example, originally I'm from Songkhla, and Songkhla is Thailand's border to Malaysia. So obviously we are influenced by other country as well. And if you travel like north, we are connected to Laos or like Myanmar, so that affect our language. Okay, so like the same word in Thailand, if you say the standard Thai, everybody be able to understand. They have their own word for that. For example, the word pineapple, in the standard Thai language, we say sapparot. And in the north, they say makhanat.
Okay.
It's a completely different word.
Yeah.
And in the Isan region, they say baknat. And in the southern region, where I come from, they say yanat.
Oh, so it's all different.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all different. But however, there are also like some phrase that it's basically the same word, but you change the way you pronounce it. For example, like in standard Thai, right? If you want to ask somebody, where are you going? You say, ไปไหน? ไปไหน?
Mm.
right? And then in Southern language, it would be the same word, but with like different tone, different way to
So,
pronounce it. You say "benai,"
okay.
but like you sort of understand each other.
Mm.
But like the reality is that like I grew up in the South, and when I go to school, people don't actually use Southern language. We use standard Thai, but we will
Mm.
throw in a little like Southern word.
Mm.
So we would speak in a like a standard Thai like pronunciation and everything, but then there would be this like Southern word that if people from Central come, they would be like, what does that mean?
Mm.
Words like pon or like gaba, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Hmm?
Mm. Also, how important is body language as part of communication? So you talked about tones,
Oh,
right? What about body
yeah.
language?
Yeah, very important. So how should I explain this? Like you've been to Thailand, right?
Yeah.
I remember, so you've seen people do like something like this, right?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
when they say sweaty, it's called why, and it's like an act of paying respect.
Mm.
And so the logic behind this is that Thai people consider the head to be like it's the highest part of the body, so it's the most important part. And
Mm.
if you are lowering your head to somebody, it's mean like you're paying respect to them,
Respects.
you
Mm.
honoring them.
Mm.
And the degree of how much you lower your head, like it have meanings. For
Mm.
example, if you would like you wouldn't lower your head for your friends because you're equal in
Mm.
terms of like age, experience, and everything. But if
Mm.
it's your parents, your teacher, somebody older, then you would why them, say
Mm.
20 and you would lower your head. That's like
Mm.
you're respecting them. And if it's like a monk or a Buddha statue or like an even higher, like something like that, you would go all in and then you would do glab, which means you do this, but then you sit down and then
Mm.
you bend your head like very low like, to the
Mm.
ground, something
Mm.
like. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So do you have any tongue twisters or hard to pronounce sentences in Thai, like something which is interesting for our
Ah,
viewers?
I think you can try this one. Like it's a Thai counter stuff.
Okay.
Um, okay, let's try with the easy one first, okay?
Okay.
Um, รถยนต์ล้อยาง
Could you repeat that?
Can okay รถยนต์ล้อยาง
Rotyon
รถ
loya.
yes รถยนต์ล้อยาง and then รถราง
Rotlon lo. Oh no, I can't do it.
okay,
Okay.
never mind. I'll show you. So okay, so I'm gonna go to like a more difficult one.
Okay.
ชามเขียวคว่ำเช้าชามขาวคว่ำค่ำ it sounds simple when you say it like
Mm.
slowly, but if you
Mm.
go faster, like I cannot do it. ชาวเขียวคว่ำเช้าชาวขาวคว่ำ like it's like I
Wow.
can't. Or like and Thai tongue twister have such a weird meaning. For example, this one กล้วยตานีใบหวี
Mm.
เดี่ยวมีหวีเดียวหิ้วหวีไปหิ้วหวีมา it's mean you have this banana
Mm.
with a dying brown tip and you just
Okay.
carry it back and forth. Like, yeah, tongue twister is weird.
Mm.
Mhm.
So what would be your advice for someone who wants to learn Thai and learn about the culture?
I would say because right now there is pandemic going on and you probably cannot go to Thailand.
Mm.
The best way to learn is I would say first start with the alphabet of how to like don't try to remember all of it because you will go crazy. Just
Mm.
try to like get familiar with it and then start to remember the easy words like กินข้าว which mean like you eat a meal.
Mm.
And then I would recommend to download the app Hello Talk. Hello
Mm.
Talk is when you can find a person who want to learn your language and you
Mm.
want to learn their language, and you
Mm.
two can like mentor each other. Like
Mm.
that's the best way to learn a language, I'd say.
Okay. So thanks a lot for this interview. I think we learned a lot today.
Thank you.